And there's so many things that can force us to overreact within the football industry. You've already really accurately described it as a tornado. And beyond technology and opportunity, there is also things like the pursuit of relevance, the pursuit of relevance in a kind of a content, social media sense, in the sense of brand and identity and trends and stuff like that, seeming to move at a million miles an hour. And it can really divert the thinking and acting slow part. I think that's very powerful insight for people to hear.
Yeah, and I think, and this is a real challenge that everyone individually will need to sort of navigate, and reflect on. If you come into the industry and opportunities are appearing to you, there can be a temptation, and I completely understand it, to almost sort of mirror behaviours that might already exist, or mirror behaviours of leaders, the people that may have an influence over your career. So I completely get that can be tricky to navigate. But I have seen people do it brilliantly, where they've very, very skillfully built relationships with leaders, even though those leaders are very different people to them. They've still stuck to their values, and then when they've had the opportunities, they've sort of led and created a culture that they maybe always felt was the right way to do things, or their way to do things. So there are these moments. I'm not suggesting that people should change. I'd more talk about adapt and evolve than change who you are. But there may be these moments where you need to sort of survive and navigate the industry with skill, to allow you to move into those positions of more influence at some point in the future.
Yeah, and the way I've heard Mindflick and Spotlight describe these things is as counterweights, adaptations, leaning into like adjacent skills. And I like that terminology. Rather than trying to fight who you are and your kind of natural home, you just lean into things that become an adaptation to your performance brain.
Yeah, and particularly when we think about adaptability, sometimes I've helped very experienced leaders, who've succeeded by embracing who they are, and things change around them. And they sort of hit this moment of thinking that they need to change, and then they're really struggling with that. There is that saying, "What you got you here won't get you there." It might do. So not sure I completely agree with that saying. But I think understanding there are going to be moments when you're going to need to adapt, even if you've been incredibly successful. So knowing that, I think, gives people a real chance to be more agile, more adaptable, and not find themselves in a really difficult place where they're maybe thinking, I'm struggling with this, I need to be someone different. Don't be someone different. That's incredibly hard work. And it's just I don't think there's any point spending your energy on that. I'd rather people maximize the strengths they've got and then use those to adapt as they move forward. I think it's a much more positive place to be, and I actually think it's easier.
What a fantastic note for us to conclude on, Martin. We deeply thank you for your time and sharing all this wonderful insight for the season 1 community. Thanks for being here. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I've been part of the community for a little while now, and I've got to say that for me personally, genuinely, I think it's a wonderful space, and I don't use the word wonderful lightly. I think it's a space which you're creating conversations which I feel are genuinely powerful and genuinely helpful to people in the industry and helping people flourish in the industry, but also have an incredibly positive ripple effect while they're doing it.